Let me read something for you people here from Isaiah 65:9. It says, I will bring forth a seed out of Jacob, out of Judah, an inheritor of my mountains. And my elect shall inherit it, and my servants shall dwell there. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. You know, Jesus Christ is everything. And I want to talk to you guys today about undefeated records. Now, I don't know if you guys remember Cesar Rennick Quinta. I don't know if you remember Paul Spadafora. Maybe some of you remember Larry Holmes. Maybe some of you will recall Roman Chocolito Gonzalez, because this was so fresh in your minds. All of these guys were on undefeated runs. Chocolito, 46 fights, undefeated. But of all the fighters I just mentioned, Chocolito Gonzalez and Larry Holmes are two of the more accomplished fighters in terms of who they fought and what they did in their boxing careers. Roman Gonzalez's career started 12 years ago. He became world champion at minimum weight. After becoming world champion at minimum weight, he would go on to do a number of defenses and then become light flyweight champion. He would move up from light flyweight champion to flyweight champion. And from flyweight champion, he would move up to super flyweight champion. Now, this brother went through 4 different weight classes. Some may argue about his win over Carlos Cuadras. Some may even argue over his win over Juan Francisco Estrada. But there's no denying that the brother had skills. He beat a couple world champions, and he also beat a couple former world champions in the process of doing so. But yesterday, he lost to a fighter whose name I can't even pronounce, from Thailand. Rough and rugged fighter. And in some respects, some of us will think of it as poetic justice. In other respects, some will say that the level of competition he was facing at the higher weight classes was too much for him. What I can tell you is he fought very valiantly. It was still a close fight, but he lost. And I believe he lost fair and square. Besides being dropped in the first round, the other fighter was still having his way and making him fight his fight. Now, after all is said and done, Roman Gonzalez was the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He's no longer going to be the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, seeing he did not get beaten by someone at the top of his division. Some will dispute and say it was poetic justice that they gave him the nod over Carlos Cuadras. Maybe. But what we do know is this: it is not easy to be undefeated through 49 fights. Now, this guy's resume has a couple of champions in it. Most people don't know who these champions are, but the point is, he does have a couple champions in his resume. But he has no champion, I repeat, no champion on the level of Sergey Kovalev, no champion on the level of Carl Froch, no champion on the level of Sakio Bika, no champion on the level of Mikhail Kessler. And that is why I believe it is more poetic justice than just another fighter should have beaten him. I thought it is more poetic justice because the establishment, the ring, wanted to keep Andre Ward down. Wanted Chocolito to keep that spot warm for somebody else to move into. Andre Ward was pitted against Sergey Kovalev to lose. He won. He won, and he won definitively. Gonzalez fought valiantly against the Thai boxer, but the Thai boxer had him fighting his game. And so the Thai boxer won. Poetic justice. Are they going to deny Andre Ward what is due his? Because the seed of Jacob, the inheritance, cannot be denied from the servants of the living God. Truth cannot be denied. Let's move on. See, these guys, they pop up on the scene, but then they disappear. They give themselves for the sport of boxing for years. Nobody knew about Roman Gonzalez. But then HBO got a grip of him, got a grip of his record, got a grip of his accomplishments, and they had him on the undercard of Gennady Golovkin. All of a sudden, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But that's life, huh? Cesar Rennick Quinta popped up on Top Rank, 48-0 at the time, when he beat the Chinese fighter. They said that boy could box. Another gimmick. Didn't work his way to that spotlight, but after all those years, they got somebody. A gimmick. Someone to echo in the footsteps of Floyd Mayweather. Did this guy fight great fighters? Did he fight known fighters? Who was he fighting all the time? Spent his whole career at super lightweight. Who was he fighting? Guys from Argentina. Lots of guys from Argentina. Were they on the level of the fighters? Prominent fighters? Named fighters? No. So when the brother finally fought someone who could do something, Edward Troyanovsky, he got knocked out. He repeated, and again he got stopped. See, I can't call him a great fighter unlike Roman Gonzalez. But I definitely have to say, when he had to step up in levels to the level of competition he had to step up to, came up short. I want to talk about another fighter, Paul Spadafora. Paul Spadafora is now 49-1-1. He was trying to break Rocky Marciano's record. He got beaten by a kid who never became super lightweight champion, Johan Perez. Beat him by majority decision. Now, this guy, he had fought a lot of not so well known people. He drew with Leonard Doran, but his best days were at lightweight. He beat Angel Manfredi, Victoriano Sosa, and that's about it. Never really had any tough fights against any tough people. Never jumped up in weight class to fight any really dangerous people. See what I'm saying? Again, sheltered. See, you can have a 49-0 record, but you've never been tested, and then when you step in the ring with somebody who just half decent, sadly, you lose. Roman Gonzalez, he ain't supposed to lose to a dude, that Thai fighter. He ain't supposed to, if he's all that. But he lost. But it happens in boxing. Let's talk about Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes was a fantastic boxer with a fantastic jab. And Larry Holmes was 48-0 when he faced Michael Spinks. Now, some people feel that Michael Spinks, he was robbed against Michael Spinks. I'm not saying no. He said some things about Rocky Marciano. But then he comes and loses to Michael Spinks outright the second time, in the second fight. He lost to him. So even if he was 49-0, he came in his 50th fight and he lost. And then he lost fights after that. He lost to Mike Tyson after that. My point being this. 49-0 ain't as easy as it looks. Now, Larry Holmes faced just about everybody when he was 48-0. Okay? He beat some of the future world champions who were kind of weak. Alright? He beat Muhammad Ali. Ernie Schaefer was a good fighter. Alfredo Evangelista, Ken Norton. So these are some of the good names he beat. Okay? But at the end of the day, still lost. Now the guy we need to talk about is Rocky Marciano. Some people deem Rocky Marciano the greatest heavyweight of all time. I don't. But it's all good. Now we all know Rocky Marciano before he faced Archie Moore, Ezra Charles, Jersey Joe Walcott. Fought mostly bummy fighters over their prime, like Joe Louis. Nonetheless, he's the dude that we call the man that holds the golden torch, Rocky Marciano. His best years really were his last 7 fights. He was undefeated and died undefeated, but the point is, Marciano accomplished something that not many boxers accomplish. Now think about this. Think about a boxer doing what Roman Gonzalez does, goes up all those divisions, fights quality fighters like Larry Holmes did. In fact, the best in the world in every division he went through. And he's remained undefeated. That's Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather faced everybody he was supposed to face. All the top level guys, he faced them while they were top level. Shane Mosley was the #1 welterweight in the world. Miguel Cotto, the #1 super welterweight in the world. Canelo Alvarez, the #1 junior welterweight in the world. Oscar De La Hoya, the #5 super welterweight in the world. He faced Manny Pacquiao, the #2 welterweight in the world, and #2 pound for pound fighter. Right? He faced Arturo Gatti, the #2 super lightweight in the world. He faced Jose Luis Castillo, the #1 lightweight in the world. He faced Diego Corrales, the #1 at the time super featherweight in the world. He faced Gennaro Hernandez, the #1 super featherweight in the world. See, Floyd fought the best. The best. And he fought a number of pound for pound fighters like Diego Corrales, Jose Luis Castillo, Ricky Hatton, which I forgot was the #1 super lightweight in the world as well. Juan Manuel Marquez, the #1 lightweight in the world. And #2 pound for pound fighter. Diego Corrales was the #5 pound for pound in the world, I think, or #4. And Jose Luis Castillo was the #10, and I think the #8 pound for pound in the world. Dang it. I need to sleep. You know, he fought, like I said, Ricky Hatton was a pound for pound fighter. Shane Mosley was a pound for pound fighter. Oscar De La Hoya was a pound for pound fighter. Canelo was, I don't know if Canelo's a pound for, oh yes, he's a pound for pound fighter right now, that's true. Alright, and then you got Manny Pacquiao. Alright, all these pound for pound fighters Floyd Mayweather fought. When you say Floyd Mayweather, you're talking a whole other bracket of fighter, folks. This is why I'm putting this TBE series out there. This is what, I think this is video number 29, something like that. These are all facts. And I have more facts. I just pile on the facts with you guys. You know why it's so easy for me to do this? It's so easy for me to do this because the guy's that good. You see? He's that good. For the record, and for posterity, every time you guys come up on YouTube, Floyd Mayweather makes a claim that he's TBE. Something which he's backed up completely. This is just another video showing the facts. How difficult it is to pull off what he did so early in his career. 2 years into his career, he was world champion. Against the best super featherweight in the world at the time. And right now, a World Boxing Hall of Famer. Think about what I'm saying. You guys have a great one.